Moon Knight issue number 30. This is the finale, folks, of Jed MacKay's tenure on Moon Knight. We have reached the end. It is not the end of his work on Moon Knight because we have Vengeance of the Moon Knight coming out a month from now because God forbid things rest a minute, right? I'm kidding, all jokes aside. This is the last days of Moon Knight. We're officially killing off Marc Spector and Stephen Grant and Jake Lockley in some capacity. Whatever that looks like, hey, okay, sure. This is quite the book. I think it's a very interesting way to end it because it has that little bit more of like a hopeful glow that Moon Knight doesn't normally get. Where it's like, yeah, we could die the hero and the world can be better for it. Very interesting. It does have a lot of like last issue-itis where it becomes just a little too rushed where you're like, okay, yeah, no, like this does set up the new stuff. And I guess it's easier to go to a number 1 than to solicit an issue 31 come 2024. So I can't be mad at it for that. But if I'm being completely honest with you, as somebody who has read a majority of Moon Knight books, if not every Moon Knight book, this just doesn't have like the finality that I think previous iterations have had for the character, but I don't hate this at all. I think it's a good finale. It works well. It stays true to what this book is kind of set up, where it's less about Moon Knight himself and more about the mission that he set up with the Midnight Mission, and that's pretty cool. So we open up this issue. We're on the 21st floor of the Mount, and Soldier is helping Tigra get off of the mine she stepped on. Badir shows up, and they're like, okay, we have to go help him, but it's going to be hard to get to the top floor to help Moon Knight fight Plesko, because that's right, his old pal Plesko is actually the Black Spectre. We were starting to see like this in the making since like issue 25. We've been kind of just like setting that up. So now it makes sense. I think we're all okay with it. And for the majority of this issue, it's Marc covered in blood and he's bruised and he's like on the ground, barely able to walk. But that gives it the perfect opportunity for Plesko to reveal like his evil scheme. He's like, you know what, Marc? I was inspired by the first Black Spectre because, he wanted the city to love him, but I want the city to fall into chaos. The more I became just fascinated with you as a person, like, everything comes back to you. Like, you're such this weird guy, and I'm just like this student of atrocity. I just like seeing these horrible things that people do to other people or have done to them. And you're just like one of the key ones. Like when we were on the, the Karnak Cowboys, I was like, this guy's insane. And then Layla died, and then you died, but then you didn't die, and you became this, like, unkillable creature that I've never met before, and I was just, like, obsessed with it. And I had to find a way to see for myself, like, what you could become, and I wanted to know, like, who was the person that put you down. So then we cut to Sedan at some point, and Plesko goes to talk to Raoul Bushman, making an appearance in this book, something that happens scarcely in this run. He's like, you're the one that killed Spectre? He's like, yeah, I'd happily have you pay him a visit if you want. Like, what's up? He's like, no, I don't want anything like that. I want to know, like, what happened, and I want to work for you. I want to see what you do to be the person that killed Marc Spector, because he was unkillable in my eyes, but you managed to kill him. That's pretty damn cool, dude. That's pretty fun. I do like that stuff. I mean, it does set up, like, Plesko, and that's, like, the other theme of this book, too, is kind of just, like, this psychoanalytical idea of like what Moon Knight is and how like somebody with this type of brain can keep coming back, can keep existing and do the things that he does. So Plesko being in the orbit of Moon Knight all this time and seeing Marc as this guy is like, how does he keep coming back? I need to know who killed him so I can understand like what needs to be done. And that's pretty exciting. So then we cut to the Midnight Mission where it's Zodiac versus Reese, and she's just putting him through the ringer. He's fallen through multiple floors of the Midnight Mission, and she's like, dude, you had all these grandiose plans, and now you're just a henchman for Black Spectre? That's pretty lame. He's like, no, I saw his plan. I thought it was cool. It's pretty maniacal. Dude starting off to be a villain. It's pretty cool. I like his plan. I think it's pretty interesting. And, you gotta go where the money is, right? It's pretty fun, Seeing a villain arise, that's pretty cool. You don't understand, Reese. You're just a vampire. We cut back to Plesko, who is still just talking about, Marc, you are just this amazing thing. Bushman was like this genius. He was an artist with a machete. He was so talented. But even he He was just like, like piece of shit that exists in your orbit that becomes destroyed and broken. And then, the more I've just observed you from the past and with the Shadow Captain and everything, I got so tired of just seeing you. You just became this destructive force that ruined everything in your path, like a shark in just like destroying this huge thing around you. And I was just a minnow in your wake, and I needed to be more than a minnow. I needed to be something that you would have to fight against. If you're a shark and I'm a minnow, what is that? So I needed to be like something bigger for you, so you would see me, and then we could have this moment, and I could understand like why you're such this fascinating creature to me. Which I really starting to like the more I think about it, is that the main villain of this run, which could arguably be the best run of Moon Knight, is this guy that has known him for years and is like, what is it with you, man? Why do you keep coming back like this? I've seen you in every iteration and form. I've talked to the people that have killed you. You're just like an insane guy. Why does this keep happening? It's crazy. So crazy. But his machine is now ready to go, so Plesko is going to stop, just waxing poetic about his plan. He's going to head off. He's like, you know what, Mark, I always valued your friendship, so goodbye, enjoy the afterlife. We cut back to the midnight mission, where we see Zodiac is like, this is what I've always been saying about Plesko. He's a supervillain being born. It's like a butterfly in a chrysalis. He's emerging, this new creature, and it's so wonderful. And then again, he thinks he's going to defeat And then again, he thinks he's going to defeat Moon Knight, and then it's just like, hey, he did it. He did his plan. And then he'll come back, like he always does, and then I can start my real project. And that's going to be fun. And you see Reese like, you fucking idiot. There's no coming back this time. There's no more resurrection. You banked everything on the fact that Moon Knight is going to come back, but he's going to die this time. And Zodiac is like, what? No, he comes back. He always comes back. No, you better hope he survives or you've missed your shot, you stupid idiot. You let the Spectre take it. Way to go. So we see I guess it's just like a control room where there's just like boards and stuff. Mark is like crawling his way to the computer. And the like vision of Khonshu that's still like kind of blurred out, so he's not like fully in there. He's like, I can't help you. My power's exhausted. I'm still imprisoned. I can't get you out of this. He's like, it's all right. You're my son, and you are still dying at my service, so you've done your job well. Even in your rejection of me, your betrayal, you still have distinguished yourself, and for what it's worth, I am proud of you. And I'm like, holy shit. In Mark's dying moments, his father figure is telling him that he's proud of him, and I'm like, okay, go off a little bit. That's pretty sick. I do like that. And the more like closely Mark gets to like accomplishing the goal of turning off Plesko's like device, the more like prominent the like apparition of Khonshu becomes, and he's like, I cannot help you, but I will await you. You will take your seat at my side, and I'm sorry for that, but hey, you have been a good son. And Mark is just like, he's trying to crawl to the device to turn it off. He can shut it off. I can't do it alone, but hey, you've never done it alone, Mark. And we see Jake and Steven are there with him in their respective planes of whatever Mark's mind looks like. They're waiting for him. It's like, you got this. We can do this together. We're going to do it. Let's get out of here. We're scared, Mark, but it's the end of the line, but we just got to get this done. So at least this means something. We'll die the person everybody thought we couldn't be. So let's go. If we're going to do it, let's go out with a bang, That's pretty sick. Sorry. I'm responding well to that. Then we cut back to Zodiac, because he's been, I guess, the main antagonist for this run. And he's like, no, this can't be happening. You have to let me out. Reese is like, I'm not letting you out. He's like, I'm not talking to you, Reese. I'm talking to you, the Midnight Mission. Read my mind, Midnight Mission. See what I want to do. Okay? So let me out. And then a door appears behind Zodiac, and the Midnight Mission is letting him out because he made a deal with the mission. He's got work to do. We cut back to Greer, Soldier, and Badir, and they're like, we have to help him. Greer is just ready to go. She is ready to get in there and save him. But you see Badir grabs her arm and is like, we can't. There's nothing we can do. He has to make his death mean something, and that's up to him. So we see Mark crawling across the floor. Steven and Jake are shouting at him like, you can keep moving. You got this. We can't let him win. We're going to do this, Mark. We got this forever. Mark is going to build a device. He's going to blow up the machine. A huge rumble comes from the ground. It looks like the city is about to be infected. We see the Moloids reacting underground. We see the streets of New York reacting. Greer starts to react heavily too. Marc is ready to end it all. It's going to be their final moment, and they're all going to have one final drink. The boys are going to have one final drink. Marc is holding the detonation device. It's been an honor, boys. Last call. What are we doing? All right. Hit the button. And in Marc's final moments, he sees the people in his life that he helped. We see him talking to Reese, and she's saying, "You are enough." We see him sitting alone with Greer saying, "Till the new day earns the sun." We see him becoming brothers with Badir, and we see Soldier, who has dedicated his life to Marc now. And that's when his final words, "Greer, I'm sorry, I promised." Boom. Building goes up. It explodes. Moon Knight killed himself. But, folks, okay? It's classic comic books. We don't see the body. That could mean anything. It means nothing to me right now. Moon Knight just died. He blew himself up to stop the ultimate evil, a guy that's obsessed with him. I love it. Then we have two epilogues because we just end it there. Marc blew himself up to save the day. We see in New Jersey, the Black Spectre is like, "Wait, it didn't work? Why didn't it work?" And that's when a voice goes, "I told you can't plan for Moon Knight." And he turns around to see Zodiac with a bunch of guns and a bunch of weapons just ready to attack Plesko. Like, "You stupid idiot. You should have won, but you just didn't. You underestimated Moon Knight every single time. I told you not to do that. Don't do that." Amazing. Truly amazing. Then we have another epilogue that takes place a month later from the events, and we see some person's at the Midnight Mission. He's like, I came here because I need help from Mr. Knight. He was the one who helped me. And we hear like a voice off in the distance say, he's gone and it hurts all of us every night. He died doing his work. He's gone, but the Midnight Mission remains. His work is our work now, and our work never ends. So, welcome to the Midnight Mission. My name's Reese. How can we help? And you see the legacy left behind of the Midnight Mission. The book opens up with Marc in the same pose that Reese is in right now. She is now in the Mr. Knight garb, as is some characters who are in the orbit of Moon Knight. Like Soldier, he's wearing the Mr. Knight stuff. Hunter's Moon is wearing his adjacent Mr. Knight thing. And 8-Ball. 8-Ball is part of the team, folks. And so is Greer, and that's really cool. And instead of Khonshu, in the back, they have a statue of Moon Knight. And that, folks, is where the book ends. And that's really cool. I have so many thoughts, and maybe we could do another video about it, but 30 issues of a Moon Knight book, I never thought I'd see this again in my lifetime. The fact that it's spinning off into another one is incredible. Jed MacKay does have, he gives us a little like statement at the end of the book, which is really nice to see. It's nice to see the folks over at Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast, getting mentioned in Jed MacKay's little letter at the end. I was a guest on that show a few years back, and it was really fun. Just great. Like, this is the Moon Knight book I never thought I'd see again. And it did really well. You gave me a satisfying ending. Like, if this became the last I ever saw of Marc Spector, like, let's say it's not comic books, they're not cyclical and always, like, eating its own tail. If I never saw Marc Spector again, would I be happy with this ending? He sacrifices himself to save a world that is indifferent to him, and his legacy lives on through the mission that he set up. He says goodbye, and he makes peace with his alters. That's pretty good. I mean, I have no issues with that. I think it's a strong finale. And, a couple weeks from now, we're just going to get the continuation, whatever that looks like. I can't be too mad at it. It's doing all these things that make sense to me. So that's fine. I have no issues whatsoever, and it looks great. Cappuccio is such a talented artist with this book. Rochelle Rosenberg, a fantastic colorist, and MacKay, I like this. This is my favorite book he's done with Marvel so far, and he's going to be doing a lot more stuff probably. He might be one of their guys now. I don't know. I do like it. So it's a fascinating ending. It's sad to see this book end, but at the same time, do I want another 30 issues of this? Yeah, I do. But we might be getting that in Vengeance of the Moon Knight, or it's going to end again. I don't know. But I'm impressed. So, Moon Knight issue 30, the finale. I'm going to give a 9 out of 10. Now, thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.